Alright, I have a bunch of guitar effect pedals here that I've accumulated, and it is time for me to put them onto a board. And the style that I want to do is a pedal train type board, but I realized when I was looking at the price of those that I would much rather just build my own and get another effect pedal, because I'm always in the process of trying to justify new gear to my wife. So first off, I have this oak plywood that I got from Home Depot. You should be able to find it anywhere. Um, Here's the piece I'm going to use for the side. This is the actual board. And I've laid out the general direction of how I want my pedals to go. Here I have a Crybaby, which I use for funk. A Tube Screamer, which I use all the time, really. I also have a Voodoo Lab pedal power, which powers all this stuff. And just like the pedal train model, I'm going to put this underneath the board so that I can save more room for up here. Alright, I cut out all the pieces. There's no real way to describe how I chose to do it this way. I just kind of thought through what a pedal train model looks like, and I tried to replicate it. And after I cut out these pieces, I sanded up the edges real nice. Well, not super nice, but enough so that it's smooth, so that it won't get any splinters and cables or anything like that. And then I'm going to make sure that these patch cables, because I'm going to have some that are going through the bottom, can fit through this, and that looks like it fits nicely. Now I'm going to try and put this Voodoo Lab underneath this, and I researched that the brackets that Voodoo Lab sells for the pedal train or the pedal power that fit the pedal train, you can actually buy them. And so I went ahead and bought them with the intent that I'm going to put it underneath here like this and screw it in. But what I didn't know is that these brackets don't go all the way down to the wood, so I'm gonna have to find a block or something and put it there so I can screw it on. And I have these back pieces that are gonna sit on like this, and I'm gonna have that connect to this screw right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set all these together perfectly, and then I'm going to use some wood glue. I have some Elmer's, and I have another brand here that I'm going to first glue. Okay, so after I let the glue dry for a day, it's nice and solid here. After that dried, I went ahead and screwed all the pieces together. I used cabinet screws, and they worked out pretty nicely. And as you can see, it's starting to look like a actual pedal board here. I'm going to turn this over, and I did put some blocks right in there to boost the pedal train up a little bit. And the next step I'm going to do is Graham here is going to help me sand this guy. I have just a hand sander here. I think it's 220 grade sandpaper or whatever it's called. I heard that was good for this oak plywood. And I'm doing this before I put on the primer, which I'll let dry overnight as well. Okay, so I just put this coat of primer on it. I used, actually I got this tip from Bob Vila. I used Painter's Touch primer, and I'm supposed to let this dry overnight, and then I can start putting on my the rest of my paint job. Now this is a brown primer because it looks like, but it's a boost for my wah pedal, and the reason why I did that is because I'm choosing to power the wah through the bottom, and I need to have access to the bottom. Okay, so the primer has just dried. I let it dry for 24 hours, and now I'm going to, per Bob Vila's recommendation, I'm going to sand it down one more time again before I put on the true color of the paint. And I also have these spray cans right here. I didn't know what I was going to do in the store, so I just bought a bunch, and I figure I'd return what I didn't use, but I really like this textured idea. I don't know if I'm going to go for it though. I'm probably just going to use a combination of these colors with this brown as the base, and have some stripes with these colors. As you can see, I'm just kind of trying to see what it's going to look like with this tape. But I'm going to start. Okay, I've used this frog tape, painter's tape, to lay down what the lines are going to be, and I'm going to
Grand peed on the bathroom floor.
Grand peed on the bathroom floor. Great. All right. Tell him to look it up. I don't want brown. Those are going to be yellow, beige, and I forgot what the other one was. But anyway, you'll get the idea. Okay, I put the tape on the brown parts that I want to protect now, because now I'm going to work on the different colors in between each of the brown. And I tried my first round of doing the orange line down on the bottom. And had I done this all over again, I probably would have just got a can of regular paint and done it with a paintbrush. That would have been way easier. Doing this with a spray can is kind of a nightmare. So, note to self, but we'll get through this. The moment of truth has arrived. Taking off all the paint after I've done all the layers, and that got pretty tedious, and so I just want to reiterate how in this case it's better to use can paint, not spray paint. And there were some problems. As you can see, some of the paint leaked through the tape, especially back here. But for the most part, realizing that this is the first time I've really undertaken something like this, I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. So the next step is I'm going to do some touch-up paint on these little spots that I missed here, and then I'm going to paint the under portion. That's why I have the bottom taped off here, and then I'll let it dry, and then boom, pretty much there. I put this polyurethane finish on the final coat. I let it dry overnight, and it looks pretty dang good. I also did the touch-ups along the edges, just with some extra spray paint. And yeah, I'm pretty stoked. This is looking pretty gnarly. I put some feet on it, and I put the pedal train underneath. It mounted perfectly. The brackets were nice and good. The only thing is I had built this little stage for the wah, and I'm not liking it now. So I took it off, and I'm probably just going to find some other way to mount the wah. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Okay, now it's time for the fun part. Putting the pedals on the pedal board and wiring everything underneath here, and looks like it's going pretty good. As far as methods of attaching the pedal boards, or the pedals to the pedal board, according to the research I've done, there's three main methods. There's Velcro, there's using bicycle chain links to screw it onto the screws on the pedals and then screw them onto the board, and then there's zip ties where you can tie them around and screw holes in the board. Then there's pluses and minuses of each, obviously. I decided to go with the Velcro. Like other players, my pedals are constantly changing, so the concern with that is leaving the goop on the bottom of the pedal. But I'm going to try and get it off with Goo Gone and just hope that goes okay. But as far as the other methods, I didn't feel like drilling holes in my board for zip ties, and I didn't feel like screwing holes in my board for the bicycle chain links. So as far as patch cables, I have this kit that I got, Planet Waves solderless pedalboard cable kit. It should be like 60 or 70 bucks, and it's been great. You can design your own cables. I have the smaller ones just like this, and then I also have a longer one going from here over here. Underside up. I had all this mucky muck I had to clean up, so I got these screw eyes and I screwed them underneath the board, and I just got these cable ties to organize all the cables, and I also put glue over the sharp screws there so I won't be tearing up my cables. Looks like I'm good to go, man. Let's do this. So hoping it would make me a better guitar player, but I am what I am.